Am I live? Yes, we are. Wow, I think it's been really long. How long has it been? I think 3.5 months. Oh, that can take a toll sometimes. Well, it's the summers in India, and it's a summer of six. I was just saying, summer of artificial intelligence. Everyone seems to be talking about it, and it's not limited to you and me and people who are reading the news. Everyone, and I can say everyone from the fraternity of educators, corporate professionals, your mom, your pops, your uncles and aunts, even the leadership, the leaders of the world are talking about artificial intelligence, machine learning, neural networks, deep learning, etc. A lot of them are subsets of the same thing, but it's essential that we keep conversing because before these buzzwords overwhelm us, it's necessary we understand them to the minutest of details. Yes, artificial intelligence is almost in each and everything that are utilizing on our mobile phones, on our laptops that I'm currently utilizing to speak to you, and even on the smallest of applications because convenience is convenience comes with a premium, and everyone wants convenience at their doorstep, and it's about augmenting rudimentary tasks, things which a lot of other people were doing on a repetitive basis, and just maybe artificial intelligence can augment human lives. That's a term I've been listening to the longest of times. But it's essential that we understand that we're here to deliberate, discuss, and not scare the wits out of people. And most importantly, if government leaders, if world leaders, and of course, I recently had a conversation with a 60-year-old who put me through a test, and I'll tell you what the test was, because here's a gentleman who has spent close to 25 to 30 years of his life in a manual environment. Uh, he was probably the first or second recipient in his family, generational family, to have utilized the internet and laptops. He now has kids who have, of course, gone through the education system, have also settled abroad or are working abroad, but still he says that whenever he hears back from them, those countries are so bullish about India taking the lead that sometimes he wonders if this is a myth or if this is just a lucid dream. But I had to assure him that the pace at which AI is being adopted, that pace is, we're not really number one, two, three at the moment. By we, I mean the country of India. And it's probably because of a little bit of reticence. We're not extremely sure about how do we approach it. That's also because of so many other factors, demographic factors, factors of people, what will happen to people who are unskilled in this particular technology, what will tend to happen to so many others who are right through the education system and are probably entering the workforce as we speak. So who skills who takes up the onus of skilling the individual? And there's also been talks, especially, I don't know if you've heard this in Singapore, anyone above the age of 40 is being, can I use the word force? Probably yes. Or rather, they've been told to, or they've been forced to come out of their comfort zone and enroll themselves in an educational degree because things have changed over the past 20 years. So, why don't you enroll in something which is very current, utilizes the most current test, or rather the most newest of technologies, and learn to live a tale for the next 20 years. Makes sense, right? Yeah, so coming back to the discussion, so of course, I've been skilling myself through LinkedIn Learning, Udemy, and Uni Athena, and a lot of other online courses. Of course, I started out with doing too many courses, and now I'm trying to focus myself on branding, marketing, a little bit of marketing management as well, a lot of it, of course, and content marketing because that's something I've always been so bullish and so extremely happy, or so extremely happy in a space whenever it's all about content marketing and marketing across multiple channels. So yes, I come back to that conversation where the gentleman asked me beta, and the beta is a very regular term that someone uses, especially when he doesn't know your name, or if he's an elder individual and he feels that you're younger. So beta, what is artificial intelligence, and what all can it do for us? So it actually pushed me to break it down into very normal language, because here is someone who hasn't really worked in the IT space, though he's extremely happy that the country is an IT superpower. But of course, I didn't really tell him about we being the back office of the world, because that would have taken the conversation to an entirely different realm. So of course, I started out with artificial intelligence. I started out with the most basic of things like Chat GPT, the prompts, and he had a very valid question. He said, "What will happen to Google search?" And I said, Google search is going to be there come what may, because by the time people crack the utilization of ChatGPT and look at ways and means of checking the veracity of the content that they receive, the others, or rather people who've been using Google search for the longest of times, will continue to have two sectional ideas of finding content, which will be, of course, using regular prompts on ChatGPT, getting an output which is satisfactory to structure their thoughts, another very important topic. And just to check veracity, they might go onto a Google search, which these days is trying to be empowered using AI. And probably there'll be a mix and match of many factors before someone draws a conclusion. So while this might seem like an extremely large exercise, a lot of other people look at it as ways and means of making money by empowering people. By people, I mean regular people who have a tough time finding information. But if information can be made available at your fingertips, I think you're doing a decent job of artificial intelligence. But let's come to this extremely important conversation. While you continue to utilize artificial intelligence and AI systems which are empowered by them, let's also be wary of the fact that these systems aren't perfect. These systems are still learning, and as far as I know, there are new versions coming up of ChatGPT. There is a version of the Google backed Gemini coming up. So what's happening is when you expose yourself to a lot of ChatGPT output, you notice that they are regurgitating the same amount of text in different formats, and sometimes you're tipped off, or ticked off rather, and hence absolute trust is a challenge. So as these versions get improved, or as these versions find new ways and means of upgrading their models and finding more objective driven methods of generating outputs, we will, and we have to rather, be extremely sure of what we are searching online, and Be sure of the nefarious activities that are happening because of AI cloning, AI voice cloning, AI face cloning, deep fakes, etc. And hence, because we're dealing with around 8 billion people across the world, I think the European Union, even India, organizations, enterprises, and even regular content creators, these laws will create frameworks just to ensure that you aren't mugged, you're not taken for a ride, and most importantly, privacy laws are taken into consideration before creating anything. So, hence, I think we need to do an extremely perfect, meticulous job because what happened with social media, with its lack of boundaries or rather lack of frameworks, should not be repeated, especially when AI is being implemented at scale. So we might talk about OpenAI, we might talk about Gemini, we might talk about Mistral, and we might talk about so many other AI based systems, which is basically text to image, text to video. I've been trying so many of these over the past couple of weeks. Chrome AI in video. I mean, some of their outputs are excellent. Of course, as you as you use them multiple times, you get to know that somewhere there is a little bit of a crack here. There's an overlap, there's a pixelation. So you get to know a lot of these things. These systems haven't been stressed to the maximum extent. So a lot of them are still WIP, though some of their outputs are excellent, if not perfect. But it's good to know there are people who are working towards creating AI systems. But once again, it's important to reiterate that before falling into a trap, let's try to safeguard ourselves, probably wear a shield, probably wear a heart on the sleeve, and most importantly, double check. I think there's a very important philosophy that I learned while dealing with cybersecurity individuals. They say never trust and always verify. I think for us, and especially when you're using things which are digital and AI enabled, please be doubly sure of what you're getting into. While these laws, procedures, policies will come into existence at some point in time, please be extremely sure of what you're getting into because it is a time consuming affair. It is something that will revolutionize humanity, but it also has the perils of pulling it down. Hence, I'm a bit wary of all that might happen, especially considering election season around. There's election season in our very country, there's elections in so many other countries, growing nations, developed nations, and everywhere there's a little bit of an eerie silence about AI taking over or maybe cybersecurity around these elections. So please be careful of what you're getting yourself or wherever you're dipping your fingers because solutions are being worked upon, which is the positive sign. But these solutions to become mainstream might take, while I'm very optimistic, might take 3 to 6 months, if not more, and hopefully not more. So be extremely sure of what you're getting into. Try being safe. Of course, when it comes to AI voice modulation, even the best people get tricked. So even if you have that slightest element of doubt, which is 0.01, check back and enter a transaction only when you are 100% safe and secure about it. So AI is here, people. Artificial intelligence, deep learning, neural networks, machine learning. And guess what? All of this learning has been happening through inputs that have been given by you, my friends, or rather, whatever we have been typing on the internet. So you actually have systems just crawling through, or crawling through. The word is CRAWL, crawling through web pages which has so much content generated by multiple users over the past 20 years. So everything and whatever you type becomes an input for these AI systems. So be extremely careful of what you're typing. Do not give sensitive information at all. While there are privacy laws to govern your data, I think it's important that you also be extremely safe of what you're inputting, or rather, of what you input, because you need outputs that are empowering for you and entire humanity. Great speaking to you, and let me know your thoughts. I think AI agents, and a lot of focus, personalized AI is the next topic that we should be hearing more about, and we'll probably speak again on that. Thank you so much for listening, and stay safe. Take care.